Late at night, this man followed a woman. He waited for the right moment and pinned her down on a stone bridge. The woman fought back with all her strength, but during the struggle, she accidentally fell from the stone bridge onto the tracks. The woman lay in a pool of blood, moaning and crying for help. But not only did no one come to help, she even sensed, from the far end of the tunnel, a train rushing toward her at full speed. As the train passed, the woman died in despair and helplessness. Perhaps her resentment before death was too deep. A spirit creature named Kusuriuri was awakened. Around the 7th day after the woman's death, a brand new subway line opened. That day, not only did the mayor come in person, he also invited many lucky guests to board the very first train together. But no one could have imagined that only a few minutes after leaving the station, strange things would begin to happen. First, the white lights inside the tunnel gradually turned blood red. Then a white shadow suddenly appeared in front of the train. That white shadow looked exactly like a woman. This instantly woke up the driver, who had almost fallen asleep. He hurriedly pulled the brake, but in the end, the train still hit that woman. The emergency brake caused all the passengers in the carriage to fall over, and the people who fell all disappeared in the very next second. Only 7 people were left on the train. They looked at one another, their faces filled with shock. They originally planned to open the door to the next carriage and escape, but instead, they discovered something even more terrifying. The strange events did not end there. The train suddenly started moving on its own. The mayor standing at the end of the carriage also suddenly disappeared. Just when everyone's fear had reached its peak, a man in bizarre clothing barged in. The man who arrived was none other than Kusuriuri. But the strange thing was, it was clearly the same door. So why was it that when the others opened it, they could not see the carriage behind it? Yet Kusuriuri could come in from that very carriage? He explained that all of this was the work of the spirit creature. The reason they were trapped here must also have some kind of karmic connection to this spirit creature. As for what that connection was, each of them and the woman who died at the beginning had crossed paths in one way or another. First was the policeman from the police station. As the investigator of the woman's cause of death, he naturally knew her case well. The girl with a ponytail was a waitress at a cafe, and the woman had been a regular customer there. The milk delivery boy had once seen the woman on the stone bridge. The person constantly writing something down was a newspaper supervisor. The woman was his subordinate. She was also a journalist. Among them, the one who seemed to have no connection to the woman at all was only this widow dressed in a kimono. She did not understand why she had also been trapped in this carriage, and the one with the deepest connection to the woman was the train driver. That day, he was the one driving the train. That completely crushed the woman to death. This incident affected him deeply. After all, a life had died by his own hands. But at this moment, the policeman said it was not his fault. The woman who died tragically was named Setsuko. Based on a pair of women's shoes neatly placed on the stone bridge, as well as statements from nearby residents, they concluded that Setsuko had committed suicide. They also believed she had died on the spot after jumping from the stone bridge. Just as the policeman finished speaking, a strange cat's cry suddenly rang out inside the carriage. In the next second, the driver's cabin door opened. Then a hanging strap that no one touched was pulled down as well. It was as if someone were standing there, but that person seemed invisible to everyone. Everyone except the milk delivery boy. He said that person had short hair, and was holding a cat in their arms. But why was he the only one who could see them? Kusuriuri gave an answer. Perhaps only he had witnessed the truth with his own eyes. As it turned out, the boy was indeed the only witness. Early that morning, he saw Setsuko struggling with a middle-aged man. Because he was in a hurry to deliver milk, he did not think much of it. And after he left, although he learned that Setsuko had died, the newspaper reported her cause of death as suicide. So he did not take it seriously. As he spoke, he kept scratching his eyes. By the time he finished, his eyes had been completely scratched blind. Perhaps for those who turn a blind eye to the truth, eyes are useless anyway. After the mayor, the boy became the second person to disappear. And after the boy finished giving his eyewitness testimony, a monster appeared in front of the policeman. The monster casually dragged him out of the carriage, then threw him into the void. By this point, 3 of the original 7 survivors were gone. But as the first person to disappear, the mayor, what karmic connection did he have with the woman? The newspaper supervisor, who had been silent all this time, finally spoke. He believed Setsuko's death must have had something to do with the mayor. This brand new subway line was actually tied to many shady interests. Whether it was the project bidding, or the selection of the construction company, massive dirty money deals were behind it all. At that time, his subordinate Setsuko not only had the same suspicions, but had also indeed found some evidence of the mayor's involvement. But because the matter involved the mayor, he, as her supervisor, did not fully believe Setsuko. He planned to wait until they found more evidence before reporting it. But while they were waiting, news came that Setsuko had committed suicide. As the supervisor spoke, he kept scratching his body. As he scratched harder and harder, the sound of bones snapping suddenly came from inside his body. Then, just like the previous 3 people, he also disappeared from the carriage.